Well, when we went out and started to do our film, we had no idea what we were up against. There were 2,000 complaints in Texas alone of caucus irregularity. And I don't know if everybody knows what a caucus is when you're a Democrat. You go to a community center or a rec room, and it was meant in the spirit of being an American and a good person to go stand on one side for your candidate if you're Hillary Clinton, to go stand on the other side and caucus if you're for Barack Obama. So we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, I was partnered with all Democrats. I was a registered independent. I wasn't really sure I cared. But when we started to investigate this, every single state had, everyone had the same complaints of when you go to a caucus, you sign in. That's how informal the voting is. They destroyed the sign-in sheets. Yep. You would sign in with your name. We had precinct leaders who would get their sheets back. Their own names weren't on them if they were Hillary voters. If you had a Hillary button, they would lock you out. Yep. They would tow your car. Yep. They would beat you up, yep. Threaten you. Yep. They would, there's in our film, in our website, there's a scene where an African-American woman from Indiana, which we caught a lot of it in Indiana, was going into her caucus place, and there were two big, huge, very, very tough-looking kids on lawn chairs who said, if you're here to vote for Hillary Clinton, get the F out of here, you won't be voting today. And they all turned around and went home. They were scared to death. I mean, those were the tactics, and we later found out this was, in fact, Acorn. They were dispatched by the DNC in the Obama campaign.
And there have been reports about similar things happening in Pennsylvania with the new Black Panther movement outside the voting polls there. There's also reports and allegations that they bust people in from Illinois to do the Iowa caucus. I mean, constant.
One of the biggest things they would do, and this is in our film, is that they would take kids in high school and they would give them the day off school. They would buy them a steak dinner, hand them a piece of paper to tell them what to do, bus them into districts where they didn't belong, and they would go vote for Obama, and they'd be basically bought with a steak dinner and a free day off school. And the parents went nuts. Mm-hmm. You know, what kind of civics lesson is that?
Okay, let's get to the next one. We got to move quickly, so we got Congressman Tom Campbell here. Okay, on 12:30. Known AstroTurfer lefty tactics. We've talked about some of this. They will try to remove videos that they don't like. Flag it, fake copyright notices, rate videos down. They will waste your time. That's one of their #1 things. They want to tie you up from being effective. That's in the Linsky handbook. Threaten you personally, we've talked about that. The Chicago way, right? Rambo. I put Rambo, sorry, Rambo. It was like, oh, by the way, I did all this in like less than a day because we've been doing heavy lift to put all this thing in, so hopefully it holds up. The weekly standing report, I don't know if you guys saw this in Scott Brown rights, right? Weekly standing report was pushed down hard into the steel gate and physically harassed by DSCC, Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, campaign consultant Michael Meehan, who was dispatched from DC to try to save Martha Coakley in the Massachusetts Senate race, right in front of Martha Coakley, who denied it until the pictures showed it. You can see this on YouTube. You can see the whole video. That's, I mean, it's just a security type tactic. The guy went, boom, shoved him in the gate from behind the back, tried to keep him away because he was asking good questions of Coakley, who couldn't answer those questions. And then he said, oh, I'm sorry, let me help you out. Well, you pushed me down, fool. You know what I'm saying? and then shielded him to keep him with the candidate. And they tried to deny the whole thing, but it was caught on tape. But it's a big scandal. Let's go to the next one. How to ID an AstroTurfer? If you think you're getting AstroTurfed, you probably are. Okay? You probably are. Turfer and lefty tactics. ID an AstroTurfer is when you come up against them. The myth-making, the cult of personality, the propaganda, the identity politics, they will do that. Hey, I'm an African-American. Hey, I'm a this, I'm a that. I mean, we'll talk about some of the legendary videos that we did, you know, going into Oakland and talking to people. Those were hot. I mean, we did it in January. I had this idea, I came up with it, and it was like 91% of African-Americans still support Barack Obama, whereas it's fallen on almost every group. We're just free-falling. Why is that? Now, I can sit back and speculate, and I can wear a suit, and I can do all that, whatever like that, but I wanted to get to the heart of it. I wanted to not put words in people's mouth. I didn't want to cut them out. I didn't want to do a 30-second soundbite. I went downtown Oakland at the heart of it in Samuel Merritt, and we put a microphone in people's face, and we talked to them, and we had a great interchange, and I was wearing, like, you know, something that would make me fit in and everything like that, and they are explosive. And so when that came up, because a lot of people were saying because he's black, a lot of people had a lot of other things. And I'm like, well, is that really American? When I pressed this one really, really cool gentleman, 75-year-old crossing guard, reminds me of my granddad, because he's from the South, my granddad was from the South. And when I pressed him on issue by issue by issue, he's a conservative. He wanted to drive his Cadillac without the EPA taking it away from him. He wanted to keep some money in his pocket, right? And we went down the whole thing. Hey, with the underwear bomber, he would have taken care of him. And so it's like, well, wait a minute, why aren't you a conservative? So when they saw that video, they flipped out. And they were just trying to blast that and call me everything. Examples of what I love your show, but this is horrible. Rush talks about the seminar costs, right? Take down this video, you're going to lose me as a sub. If you take down the video, you lose your placing in Google News and the rankings, all this. They know all the tactics, right? Insults, personal attacks, and threats, repeat lefty talking points. They will never deal with the facts. They will waste your time. Let's go to the next one. Examples of astroturfing, general stuff on astroturfing. We can show you this later. You know, hypocritical left price foul or supposed astroturf tactics. You've been seeing this. Most people never heard of astroturfing, other than like in the last 6-7 months. Because now that the right is doing better, oh, Beck's astroturfing. The Tea Parties are astroturfers. You just came back from the Tea Party bench. They're not astroturfers. They're regular Americans that are like, hey, we're sick of this stuff. And so it's so funny that the people that invented the astroturfing, that just put the mint on it, the Goldman Sachs of astroturfers, have basically come out and now calling the right astroturfers, which is crazy. Chicago radio stations, Obama's minions shut down Stanley Kirk from telling the truth during the 2008 campaign. Seminar College, we have that. MoveOn.org's efforts. I mean, saying the stimulus bill is great, don't worry, please write a handmade letter to your editor. We're going to talk about the LE Light thing. That was explosive. Caucuses, we talked about that. Let's go to the next one. I mean, we have, I feel like I'm back in law school with citations, right? Craigslist. They have ads on Craigslist. $16 to $20 an hour at AstroTurf for Obama, right? Camp Obama. I mean, it's a continual campaign with this crowd. It doesn't stop, right? And they are paid to do this. You have a job, you have a home, a family, whatever. You might want to say this or that. You might want to put a video, your opinion. They're on this 24/7 and they're paid to do it, right? Journalist. How many know what journalist is in here? Raise your hands. Okay. Right. Journalist is a secret website. No, not mail list. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm getting the name wrong. But basically, it is an insiders club for the mainstream media and certain selected members of the mainstream media. Joe Klein, people from the Washington Post, other people are on this list. And what they do, I believe, either Stephanopoulos or Emmanuel, one of them, they have calls every day. And they have the memo of what we're going to say, talking points. You ever wonder why every channel you turn on, that they kind of all are saying the same thing? Does that ever kind of strike you as funny? They all have the same talking points immediately. This is how they do it. Journalist is one way, and then they hit each other on the Blackberries. I've seen Joe and Mika getting hits on their Blackberry, and they admit it later from the White House on the air. Okay, you have to know about this. He'll buzz. What you mentioned, you used to be a Hillary Clinton supporter. You used to be a Democrat.
No.
No. I didn't mean to get it wrong.
No. I didn't mind Bill Clinton. I was an independent. I think this is a whole other ball.
Okay, that's fine. But like my little brother, he was a huge liberal. And again, most of my family was liberal. My dad was executive director of accounting, social services in Contra Costa County. They wanted him in Clinton's administration under Henry Cisneros as assistant secretary. And I'm glad he didn't go because he died shortly thereafter, so we were happy to have the time. He refused it. But the point is that most of my family are big-time liberals. And my little brother was a hardcore liberal. My mom is like ultra-liberal. But they were for Clinton. And as we see this, people really changed their mind and woke up that were moderate Democrats, Hillary Clinton supporting Democrats, when they saw what they did to Hillary. And Hillbuzz was one of those. I believe they were homosexuals that were, at least the one main guy that was a big Hillary supporter. And they savaged him. They say savage. My DD. Hill was 44. I mean, they went after all these people. And they're still trying to get him to take down his site because he's got the evidence. Okay? DNC to Chicago. They moved the DNC to Chicago. You guys notice that? Who do you think's running it now? What tactics do you think that they're using now? Let's go to the next one. More examples of astroturfers. Hacking to Palin's email. Right? Remember that? You know? What's that about? Why is Levi Johnston on every freaking interview show? What has that guy done at 17, 18 years old? Has he cured cancer or something? Right? Messed with ABC following the Barack Obama-Hillary Clinton debate during the primaries. Remember that? Where he got cleaned up and crushed in Pennsylvania. Well, they went into high gear after that. Beck boycott, false GNS sites, Alinsky methods, Acorn, LA Light. You guys have known about LA Light? How many know about LA Light?